Hi, and welcome to Rain Radio. This is Empress Leela, and I am your host. Tonight's special guest is Coach Linda Washington Yerby. She is the Love Yourself from the Inside Out coach, and I am super excited to be having this conversation with her tonight. We are going to be discussing how radical self-care relates to personal power. And we will also be discussing her program that I just completed called 66 Days of Lovin'. So, Linda, how are you this evening?
I am wonderful. Busy day, full of pleasant surprises, and I am present and ready.
Yummy. So let's just jump right in there with radical self-care and how that relates to personal power. Can you give me your definition of radical self-care? Because when I started working with you was actually the first time that I heard of radical self-care. So can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Well, my definition of radical self-care is when you know what you require. It's going to be different for everyone, but it's when you know what you require to feel balanced and present and full and your most authentic self. It means that you've taken the time to know yourself, to see yourself, and to give yourself what you require to feel like you are being authentic in every experience that you have. That's radical self-care. And the reason that it's radical is because, first of all, a lot of people don't do it. A lot of people don't take the time to check in and say, what's going on with me? How am I doing? Mm-hmm. What's happening? Okay, what is my lesson? Or what do I need to learn from this? Or what do I need to give myself in this moment? What do I need the most? We're so busy giving to others that we don't take the time to check in and give ourselves radical self-care.
That is delicious. Mm-hmm. How did you, I already know, but tell the audience how you discovered the power of radical self-care for yourself?
Through struggling and flip-flopping and saying yes when I should say no and doing things that weren't serving me and being a mother, really. That's where it started, just being a mom. Giving to my children when I didn't have it to give. And I had to learn. That, I can't give them what I don't have. And so for me, it started with taking nice sea salt baths in my big garden tub and for 2 hours and having my kids knock on the door and peep their head under the door and go, Mommy, are you okay? Are you coming out? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. I'll see you when I come out. So it took some checking in with me and giving myself, at that time, the actual only thing I can give myself was a bath. I couldn't afford to go to the spa. I couldn't afford to go get a massage and do all that luxury things people call luxury type items. So for me, my bathroom was my sanctuary. It was my place where I went to regroup, rejuvenate, and just to create a little retreat with candles, and I buy myself flowers, and I make sure I had a tall glass of ice cold water, and I had my body scrubs and my lotions. So that was my spa. I created my own sanctuary, and that was when my children were toddlers. And so what I've learned from that experience is that you train them young, and as they get older, now my girls are teenagers, they're used to me going to the spa. Now I can afford to go to the spa, so I'll go get a massage. I'll be gone all day, and it's what I call me day, where I take time for myself, and they're used to it. So they don't call me like they used to. They don't bother me. They know that this is Mommy's day, and they just allow me to have it because they've been trained and they're used to it now.
Mm-hmm. That's yummy. I did the same thing. Mine were I put pictures on the door so that they know that a certain picture means don't bother Mommy.
What a great idea. Yet. I had a do not disturb little hanging thing that I had gotten from someone, and it said do not disturb. but they couldn't read. So all they knew was when they saw that little hanging thing on the door, she's going to be in there for a while, but we're going to try to bring her out anyway.
Yeah, they learn pretty quick. So now when I get in there, actually super funny, my daughter does kind of the same thing. She rounds up everybody in the house. I'm getting in the shower. Do you need to go potty? Like, don't bother me.
Good for her. She don't want to be disturbed.
Exactly. I love it. She does not like to be rushed, and she's learned that she sends everybody to the potty. She gets to have her shower undisturbed and unrushed.
That's beautiful.
So tell us the difference in your life that the radical self-care made before you started taking your 2-day baths. Because in my head, 2 hours is like 2. You might as well say I spent 2 weeks in the bathtub.
Oh, man, that's the best 2 hours ever. It really is. And, yeah, I used to look forward to it and just, put my little items in the bathroom. I prep everything and have it ready when it was that time.
That is
so before then, it was just given from a place of void, given from, yelling at my kids or not being present for them or trying to multitask and do too much and not giving them quality time. And so what I've noticed is when I check in with myself and I give myself what I need and I'm balanced, I'm more authentic, I'm more loving, I'm more kind, I'm more gentle with them, I'm more patient, which is great for a mom, especially a mom of toddlers. So it just brought me to a place of feeling balanced. The radical self-care brought me to feeling just more balanced and more centered so I can give from that loving space.
That is delicious. And now tell us how you use radical self-care with your clients.
I use radical self-care with my clients by checking in, first of all, and finding out where they are in this moment. What are the stories that they've made up? What are the challenges that they face in their life? And we come up with a very small plan. One of the things I'm learning is don't give them too much. I've learned that over the years. If I give them too much, they're not going to do nothing. So if I start them off with something like a walk in the park with their shoes off, take the shoes off and go in the grass, go hug a tree, or start them off with a 5-minute meditation, or start them off with a couple sea salt baths in a week. What that does for them is it helps them to get in that space of honoring themselves and doing it in a way that they don't feel so overwhelmed where I've given them too much that they can't do anything. So I encourage them to practice radical forgiveness by just giving them a little homework assignment that's loving to them. That's not going to take a lot of time, but when they do it, they're going to see the value and experience the joy of it.
That is gorgeous. I love it.
That's radical.
I get it because I can't do a ton of stuff. I am that person that wants to do it perfect, wants to do it yesterday. And I used to, and I am a self-professed self-help junkie. If there is a self-help book out there, I probably own it. And I wanted to implement everything all at once, and I wanted to implement it perfectly, and I wanted to make sure that it was, quote-unquote, done right. And that just made me more frustrated. It did not solve anything. But I do now have an arsenal of tools for my clients from the 17 years that I spent collecting from reading books. But, yeah, I get that little tiny snippets because, yeah, I definitely have bit off more than I could chew in the past.
And what I've discovered is when the tools that I use are the same tools that I use with my clients, and the fact that I've used it, when I hear my client, my ears like perk up When I hear that they say overwhelmed, okay, sea salt bath. When I hear them thinking too much, okay, go out in nature. So what I'm learning is that when I do my work, it helps to prepave the work for my clients, because then I know what tools to use with them when I hear certain things from them, because I've used them myself and I know that they work.
Absolutely. Okay. Can you relate radical self-care to personal power?
Absolutely, of course. If you are practicing radical self-care, then you are in your most authentic self. You're in your balanced self. So when you make decisions and you make choices, they're better. You get better results. And you have more powerful experiences. And you're more in alignment with Source, with God, with the universe. And things flow a lot better. That's power. That's power. So radical self-care actually taps you into Source, to Spirit, and to help make life easier for you. So you can, when you make a decision or you make a choice or if you're doing something, you experience more flow and less struggle. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense. It is similar to how I feel like getting to know yourself. Radical self-care is one of the ways that we get to know ourselves. And an Empress view, that is like the foundational piece to owning your power, is getting to know yourself. Because if you don't know who you are and what you want out of life, you really can't embody your inner Empress.
That's right.
So, yes, it makes perfect sense. 66 Days of Lovin'. Can we talk about it? I'm so excited. I didn't tell you this earlier. I got my certificate in the mail today. I was like,
yay! Congratulations on the successful completion.
Thank you very much. Thank you. September was kick-ass for me.
Yes, it was.
And I got to see how amazing it was when I had to do my final project.
That's why it was so important for the completion of the final project, because that brings it all home. It brings it all together, and then it causes you to look at things and say, oh, I did that. I did that. Oh, I did that too. You start feeling good. Give you some momentum and some energy to do some more things. So that's
I was
awesome.
Giggling and swirling, and it brought to light things that I really would not have paid attention to, and it added another practice for me. That's super delicious. So tell the audience all about it.
Well, 66 Days of Lovin' is a coaching program that I offer my clients that came about. I was driving down the road, and the guy on the radio said it takes 66 days on average to create a new habit. And I was in the process of building my next coaching program, and I thought, 66 days. That would be an awesome way to get folks on a jump start to something that they want to accomplish. Because 66 days can come and go like that. It actually goes pretty quickly. But it also provides them with enough time to get clear, because in the program we do three things. We focus on their vision. What is their vision for their life? And then we connect that vision to an intention statement. We take one area of their life, whether it's spiritual, mental, emotional, financial, and we connect that intention statement to it, because we want them to focus on one thing. Although the vision is big and broad, that intention statement is measurable, so they'll be able to see some results at the end of that 66 days. And then the last thing is the timeline project, which has the actual highlights of the successful accomplishments that they have acquired over those 66 days. It can be considered like a resume or a portfolio, but it gives them an idea and some of my students even go further back before the 66 days of what they've accomplished. And sometimes we don't realize how successful we are and how powerful we are until we actually see it on paper. I did that. Oh, I did that too. Oh, and everything is connected to their intention and their vision statement. And at the end of that 66 days, they graduate with an actual 3 things. One, the timeline at the top of it has their vision statement and then their intention statement and a picture of them, of course, and it has a list of all the successful accomplishments that they have accomplished over that 66 days. And what I'm learning is it helps them to build momentum. They build momentum, and they take that momentum from the 60 and they move on to the next project or the next intention statement, and they just keep rolling, keep it going, keep it going.
Yeah, I can definitely attest to that because, Rain Radio was supposed to start something like August 19th, and I had all of these reasons that were completely valid that we could not get started. And then once I saw my timeline shaping up, I was like, yeah, I'm starting right now. Mm-hmm. And here we are. And I'm so excited.
Good for you. I hope accountability has something to do with that, because one of the things I'm also learning with my groups is that when they're held accountable and they've got someone in their corner and someone that can help keep them accountable through the process, it helps them to keep things moving along.
I have to confess that the accountability piece was not as, what is the word I'm looking for? It was not as imperative for me, the accountability piece, because I started amping up my Young Living business, and then I switched into my coaching practice, and that took a whole nother level of things for me. Mm-hmm. However, just the relationship that she and I built during this process, I have no words. That's so important. a little bit more powerful for me probably than maybe future students. Maybe they'll take the accountability piece and run with it, and it will be that for them, the accountability thing. But for me, I made a friend that I'm going to have for the rest of my life.
That's beautiful. And that friend's going to hold you accountable, too.
Yeah, she will. Yeah, so if I'm not in Barbados mid-November, I better be in Virginia going to the Pink concert. So, yeah. Okay. And do you have a start date for the next 66 Days of Lovin'? Because I know that one just started.
Yes. The next group will start sometime in November. I haven't chosen a date yet. I probably should do that and start marketing it. So right now I'm focusing on my current group of women who are actually just getting started and getting to know each other, developing relationships and friendships, and holding each other accountable for getting their intention statement done. So to answer your question, it will be sometime in November.
Okay, awesome. So keep your eyes peeled, people. And while we're at it, let us, before we get to the even juicier parts, let us give the audience your contact information. How can they find where Coach Linda is, and how can they find out about 66 Days of Lovin' for the November round?
They can go to my website, which is dynamicrevelations.com. Again, that's dynamicrevelations.com. They can also email me, linda@dynamicrevelations.com, linda@dynamicrevelations.com, or they can call me on my office phone, which is 703-675-3744.
Awesome sauce. Okay. Now I have some questions for you. We may end up wrapping up a few minutes early because we are doing this privately to launch later. So I just have the wrap-up questions, and then you can go into your evening. Are you ready? Are you excited? Because I'm excited.
I am. Very excited.
How do you embody your inner empress?
Ooh. I embody my inner empress by when I'm going shopping and I am looking for, which I've been doing a lot of lately because of my events that I'm hosting and my job. And so when I'm in the store and I'm looking at myself in the mirrors, I'm trying clothes on, I'm looking for that oomph, that It's like when I see myself, I'm like, yeah, that's it.
That's a great way to describe it. You know, I see your pictures when I'm, you know, putting things together for you, and I'm like, oh, my God, Linda's so adorable. So you make that happen in your pictures, just saying.
I'm coming into my own, you know, in my 40s. This is a great time of year for me, and in terms of, and especially with my age being in my 40s now, I'm loving myself. I'm really looking at myself in the mirror as I walk by and go, girl, you look good today. You know, it's that, you know, I embody my empress by making sure that I got that feeling about myself. And if I don't have it, then I'm taking the time to get back to that space and taking my sea salt baths and taking my walks and doing my meditation. And, you know, because life is going to happen. Let's be real. It is going to happen. And things get busy, especially with my coaching practice going on as well as my full-time job. My work is, no matter how busy it gets, I always make sure that I've got what I need to be my best. That's how I embody my empress.
That is yummy. I need to move that question to the end because I don't want to ask you the rest of them now.
That was a good question.
I want to close out with that. What is freedom to you?
Ooh, freedom is the ability to be able to do what I want and when I want. And what that looks like is, like, now I'm planning a trip to Fiji, and this is my dream vacation. And I've got some folks on board that want to go to Fiji too, and they're excited. And it feels so free to be able to plan it and put it on my calendar and get excited about it and to hear others getting excited about it. That's freedom. And what makes it so yummy is that it's something that I wanted to do. I've always wanted to do it, and I'm going to do it. And so the freedom piece is very, it's empowering. It really is. Knowing that I don't just have to think it, but I can actually implement it as well and make it happen. That's freedom.
That's yummy. And the next question. What is power to you?
Power is connection to source, connection to God. It's using the laws.
You are my sister.
Yes. Using the laws, the spiritual laws to support us and making things happen. So I set my intention for the trip to Fiji and feel so clear and so present and so connected to source. Things start lining up. I met a travel agent. We scheduled an appointment. She sat down. She put together an itinerary, and she just kept saying, boy, this is happening magically. That's power. It's when I'm so connected to source and so clear about what I choose that the spiritual laws and God support me in making it happen, and it happens with ease and elegance. That's power.
That is delicious. I'm glad I didn't take that question out because I was looking at it like, Okay.
That's a really good question. It really is.
What is sexy to you?
Sexy to me is I can stand in the mirror and look at myself and love who I see. Love my body and my flaws and my stretch marks and all the bruises that I've acquired over my years into my 40s and say, I remember that one and I love it to death, and kiss it. It's when I can embrace who I am completely and just enjoy myself and not have to be a certain way in order to feel good about myself. It's accepting myself exactly as I am now and flaunting my features that I have.
You flaunt, girl. And finally, what would you tell your 16-year-old self?
I would tell her to be her most authentic self. I would tell her to express herself to the world how she, in her most authentic way. So if she wants to wear an outfit and she asks me, her mom, how does this look? And I don't like it. She wears it anyway because she likes it, and it's who she is, and it represents who she is from the inside out. I would tell her to never shy away from who she is, no matter who she's around, that being shy is a symbol that you're not safe and secure in who you are. So I would tell her to express herself and always be comfortable speaking her truth, no matter who is around. I would tell her to always put her best foot forward. When someone asks her to sing, she's always got that song that she's going to sing. She's rehearsed it. She's rehearsed it in the shower, in front of the vanity mirror. And when they say sing, she's going to bellow out those notes like never before. I would tell her to always be prepared for that opportunity, so when it presents itself, she's on point, she's ready, and it's the opportunity that she's been waiting for, and she's ready to perform at her absolute best.
I love it. Wish you were my 16-year-old self, Mama. That is amazing. Thank you so much. It has been absolutely delicious.
Thank you. This has been amazing for me. Very yummy. An awesome way to end my day.
Gord, I hope this isn't the end. I hope there's more coming.
Oh, I'm winding down.
Okay.
I'm winding down. I got to get my me time in. Got to get that me time in.
Exactly. Okay, well, everyone, this is Rain Radio, and I am your host, Empress Leela, and we have been chatting with Coach Linda Yerby of Dynamic Revelations. You can find Rain Radio at facebook.com/EmpressU and just poke around on there. You'll find Rain Radio in there. And you can send a request to EmpressU@LeelaSimmons.com to be added to the group. Thank you, and have a great evening.
Thank you. Thank you for the work that you're doing in the world. You're amazing.